Ka janmit ka basuk bakmen yapi baro ki palok nongpet sa sisin ngawan ngapriang sungop habeng yapi sya kani ka program jungi ka straight talk ka program ka may crunch pang ka bha kamyat ka roy ka par ba kumjuru ya ki tliu kis ar bathar bashon ya ka jalla jungi hi baro kawai ha ka arp khandai trek unaitung arhajar arpu ar ngila duno ya urangba ubakit baba ya ka khia ka shon jong urit uria bat uduk usuk nginya persyang panbut din ya ka jingya lenti jong u kumta ka phang padeng ka bangi don banginya kren hakani ka janmit kalong iba RG Lyngdoh Nongialam bat unong tauan kumban sipen kan mau ya ki parlok nongpet bakani ka program hakani ka janmit kan long ha ka bilingual kabamut bangin kren ha ka tin khasi bat kumjuru ha ka tin pareng khnang ba kan long ka jingmentoy na menta baro ki parlok nongpet. Therefore, dear viewers, the subject of today's discussion will revolve around the works and the contributions made by an extraordinary human being, a greater-than-life personality, late RG Lyngdoh, a leader and statesman. But before we dive on to the subject, let us take a look at a short capsule that we have in store for you. Habang ikenau it yaw rangba kajat banriu bam kuai hadwar ublay ba RG Lyngdoh ngimla kalem das ngungu ya usinyang ba ulano sya kajat banriu uba Lyngdoh baju khat it kumubob ulang utaw bala yu ijinga ya kalaway kari demo ubala snguthu ningkong ya kaspa kamay mariang karilum khasi lingba ka Meghalaya Tourism Department Forum MTDF ka kenhon kabayaday baka jingjungo kay Pyrthei uba Lyngdoh ulalongru uksyang banwanra abyang ya ka jing syongsuk syongsngan ha ka jilla minba udangbat kum menteri po yeng nani Home Minister nadu usnam arhajar lai hadu arhajar pra kami gede kata kapor ha kaba ka kenhon king atyar ka Neutral National Liberation Council HNLC kadang klanba ladang ikertyang din sya ka school ba Martin Luther Christian University uba Lyngdoh uladeru uta upaya baskem ban kentiu yaka sya ka buram kabadon menta ulabat kum vice chancellor ha usnam arajar khatlai uba RG Lyngdoh udeshi sya utaw Nongialam tangkanam hendrei lalongru nong tauan Nongialam ubam ting nerit ban kren ban le yaka jing shisha kum ukhun dap shinrang bapura ulayarap ban oshrong yaka jilla haki babundukam ula persyang ban penlong yaka politics kabakhud kabasuba tang haki jing kenau bat ka jing sungu kublay si hajarngu ba RG Lyngdoh ngidon hang ni haka studio bat ngi hakikat tu kat ni ki Riewsain ki balano senyang sikat dei syaka imlang salang ngan penitu ya ki panelis ha kan niga janmit baningkong idon yiba WR marbanyang iba dei retired IPS officer ni pedang sopa ipi ba marbanyang ngidon ru ha kan niga por ya Dr Professor Larilin Kharpuri iba dei dean research jongka MLCU Martin Luther Christian University ni pedang sopa ipi bat kumjuru khadu ngidon yiba David Lightplang ibada i president jongka Shillong Press Club ni pedang sungubhai piru ba David te ngin ya chaprang ya kanika jingya kren jongi ha kanika janmit ya kanika jingya therbat ngan kali shwa ka jing kali ka baningkong ya i sa marbanyang ha kanika por sa what according to you is leadership who is a leader
Maybon, let me go back a bit so that I can highlight certain aspects of leadership. See, around about 2005, I think I was already DG then, or maybe additional DG, and Bob, I'll call RG Bob. He called me over and said that the Home Minister portfolio was being sort of offered. And we were on the height of militancy and taking quite a bit of beating. And when he called me, he discussed, and he always calls me uncle, even in the meetings in Delhi and all that. So I told him, I said, Bob, we do need somebody like you at this very crucial juncture in the history of our state. And he said, I have full confidence in you. And I said, just let us do our job. And he gave us an assurance that he'll back us up. And I must state one thing which I told him, that one department you should not play politics with is the police department. And Bob understood that, and he gave us an assurance. With that assurance came a very heavy sense of responsibility. A very heavy sense of responsibility, which Bob immediately recognized. And we had to hold, our integrity had to be good, because there were legal issues, there were ethnic issues, and which we had to take care of. And we were that way greatly sort of assisted, because we had some of the finest police officers at that point of time, both gazetted, non-gazetted, right down to the recruit constable level. And there were men and women. I mean, we probably had the finest team, pan-India. And Bob understood that. He knew and he says he has our backs. And we told him that. See, that is where his leadership came in. He was our Home Minister, trusted us, we trusted him. And the other thing was in the postings, where again he played a crucial role. I said, Bob, in discussion, with reference and in consultation with you, post the officers that deserve the post. Let's not bring politics into all this. And he agreed. He said, we need the guys who will deliver, both men and women. And Bob, being the kind of straightforward leader with so much integrity in him, he agreed, and we moved ahead.
So, coming to the question, sir, what according to you is a leader now?
It's in fact, it's a very complex situation. You see, question, because leadership requires different portrayals of an individual at different times. There is political leadership, there's leadership in your own family. If you look at a family as a nucleus, there is there is leadership at the armed forces level. And I think above all, leadership is, you've got to be country first, the people that make that country, and a lot of sacrifice. So there were three main qualities of a leader, is what you prioritize. I would say the country, the people, and the integrity that has been taught to us.
Thank you so much, sir. Temata kong in point sa shapi kong kalpuri. Hakajing sung tu jong pi ueu tau Nongialam.
Ngan kan pi, from the perspective jong university himo. Isa RG bila don hi bangi. Every leader has his own personality that he comes in an organization. With Sir, I think what I could pick up from Sir's talk is integrity. That's the first thing. It's not that we were doing things unlawfully or something like that, but how do you make sure that you're documenting everything properly? How do you do that? That he taught us. So I think that is one. But with RG Sir, another very important aspect that came in, he's very spontaneous. He's there up front. he's there to, you know, leading us right from the front. So being the person who is who gets along with everyone, having all those diplomatic skills that Sir is good at, and he was there up, and yet he can connect with all the staff, be it the caretaker of the university, be it the professors in the university, and he can connect with everyone, with the students. So as we keep discussing, the moment RG Sir enters the university, he gets down from the car till the time he reaches his room, which is on the 4th floor. Everybody whom he meets, he'll talk to each one. Each and every person he'll talk. He'll try to find out what's happening in their life. Are the classes going on properly? Are you happy with this? You're not happy with this? Which state do you belong to? What tribe are you from? Everything. And the best part is he would know all of us by our names. Department, no, not like that. He knows all of us by name. Kita ki staff ki batray hapo, canteen. He knows all of them by name. So I think those are the, you know, some of the qualities that we see in him, where though he's right there on top leading us, but at the same time he's right there at the ground level, mingling with all of us, and we felt like a family all the time.
A true leader.
True leader, yeah. So
thank you so much. But David, habang ia pai bag ia crunch pang ki Nongialam, bun sin ngiju perkat ki Nongialam hakasan Pyrthei. Te ladang ipet hakani ka jela jungi ki bun kita ki breu ki ba khnyum ki ba complain ngila ban ong ba ngiduna leaders. Te ka jing smutu jung pi weu leader. But hatu ngiduna leader haka jela jungi.
Okay, haka bening kong nga hapor mga ngawan siya ni ngang community Bob unsa tim nga ladang ito hong. If Bob was here today, he would have still said, after all these years, the road to DDK Ladkor is this. I promise you, I was shocked. I'm sorry, producer, but I was shocked and appalled at the condition of the road. Coming to where we have the headquarters of DDK Meghalaya that goes satellite. So I think Bob would have just said that. I promise you, number one. Who's a leader? Bob is a leader. I mean, kajing im jongu kala kanutali kinuksa pikwa bangan jer. Anum la. Bob kumbayong I ba marbanyang ni ba it ba yajan mangalili ngadon jing yade nagalyang ipapa udah bersak si utrai jong ipapa. Tinado ba ngadang hedang san hoy ulakam tam katukan isnem yang nreu. He was always a big brother. So automatically, what lang him ju daya kendo lang ru nama kejulong kajing mlen jong iki kasi, menta I see a welcome change. Bangi ju ya jan saki kikur. Andre ba kika teng teng in banse. You know, la dari ba yabril la ni ba ya tho kawai ting ya poi. Andre syakikur ngi tulun lang ngi ya poi ngi rong ya mi. Okay. Ubab udewe ubam juk henya kata. But naki persaksi wi jong ubab ubakan mau ye papa joma, God rest his soul. Ude ubab ni watla he didn't have to come all the way. Dura one fine na Jamshedpur or bupuli accelerate he would come back and say hi to dad. Ubab ni kumno bapin nyokor ye ki rongba ki longshwa ke jong pi. Katagoy bau hikai kabaal. He's a straight talker. He says what he means and he means what he says. So don't undo Bob. And you can take it from me with all the authority vested in me. Bob, he says what he wants to say and he means what he says.
Exactly.
He doesn't mince words. Yes, many times as a journalist, we've had our differences because when Bob is not a he thinks out of the box, but not rashly. Mind you, ulada perkat, ulada puson, but ulada junior, the consequences. Na kata kadau kibri kiburom ni ka judgment jo. Tengi kum kinong talk kubaru our varied experiences. Uderu uno he's a peacemaker. There was a standoff between us and a very high-profile minister in Badidi Lapang's ministry. A standoff between the media. We boycotted him. It was Bob who brought this gentleman to press club, brought me and a few others office bearers and said, "Hey, what are you guys cribbing like little kids?" And we ended up having a lovely round of beer together and became friends after that. So he's a peacemaker. He is many things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I can talk.
Today.
That's the leader. Uday utak ubreu ubayalam nakhamat.
Hi.
Ubam leran ban kren dia kahok.
Yes.
But who's not a hypocrite.
Exactly.
See, we're hiding plastic bottles under the table. Bob would have said something else. You see, that is one example. Nganga persyang hadu bentang ngong. Why are we pretending? Why do we have to say pidei bantet lama? Kadiban wan naman same.
Hi.
Nganga kwa ban wa kalama India. 24 hours a day. It's me, my mind, my heart. Never know we have ban what. Habban is bad. That's something which Bob taught me, and I will keep it. I have handed that down to my kids.
Hata kublay ba David ngin sa poy biyang sa pisa pangpor sa marbanyan. Most of the time when we choose leaders, we end up choosing leaders by default. It's like the voting population. We do not understand what kind of a leader do we need, who do we need. So my question to you is, what is actually expected of political leaders?
See, that's a very loaded question. Because people, who, as David very correctly said, Bob is one person who will do what he says and says what he wants to do. But in today's world, say during the electoral campaign and this and that, they paint a very rosy picture. But once elected, the whole scenario changes. So, and at the end of the day, we are the electorate. We are the ones who put these people in the places that they are. And the only problem with us is that the electorate has a short shelf life. After the elections are over, we don't even, push the MLAs or whatever to do certain things. And they completely, you're ignored.
Yeah.
You're actually ignored. Many a times when I was a SP or when I was a DIG, I used to tell people, I said, why are you coming and demonstrating, before us? I said, let the MLA come and talk. Let the MLA take up your issues. These are very genuine issues. He's your leader. Let him sort of, bell the cat. But nobody does that. You're only asking these people for certain favors. Once the favors are given, after that your job is done. And these people also are very wary, politically very savvy. They know that the human mind has a very short shelf life. So the question that you've been asking, Mehwan, is, we expect one thing, but we are delivered something else. So that's the sad part of it.
But do you think that most of the people who go and vote, they really understand what they want?
I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. Because people are, especially the rural people, they are misled with promises. And I will not go into details about that, but they are misled with certain promises. But as David was saying, the road to DDK, from the time, I think 30 years ago when I came here, 20 years ago, it's still the same. People are promised water, people are promised schools, people are promised roads. They are not there. They are not there. So,
I'll just take a thread from Bill. May, the lady who sells chai. Don't like. My goodness me, Sanposnam. See how we are actually hypocrites. I'm telling you, Bob, you are a bastard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shisha, perhaps Sanpo snam nilayo kajala ka light ka don imagine.
Like in the middle.
How much more?
Like in the middle of the village, where I come from, like cross side. In the middle of nowhere, where you have 5 cars in a day, you have a pavement. a pavement for about 2 or 3 kilometers, yet there's no electricity, there's no water. So where are the priorities?
Just if I can just add to what
Yeah, please.
your question was. I remember this was in 2017, before the elections 2018. No? Right. So we did get together in RG sir's house, few other people, some of his friends and well-wishers. We did try to work, we discussed a lot, we carried out several meetings trying to come up with this effort of a clean elections. So what he wanted was, what he envisioned was, for us, if we can go and generate awareness among people, and you know, you should always immediate thing.
Yes, very true, very true.
And he'll always say this: don't give them fish, teach them how to fish. That was his mantra all the time.
Absolutely.
Be it for us as teachers in university, be it for anything to do with the society, with the community. That was always his mantra. So, you know, but unfortunately we couldn't follow up with that. But we had this big plan and the elections were too near and we couldn't carry out. But I really wish, you know, we could
the
we could
idea
have,
was there.
Yeah.
We can still carry it
So-
forward.
So he understood that you know kibreu jungi kam tam skandong teng teng mo ha ka jingdok mo yo pisa shimut won tang ban just to sustain that short period of time,
Very true.
you know. So he wanted that actually. So I really wish we could take this forward. Very
Make it
noble.
happen.
Yes, I know.
We're there.
Ba David,
Yeah.
hakapor ba ba Lyngdoh idang bat kumu home minister to kapor kumbang ong ba kadika por ka ba bhaya ka jelam mikhalia ngas ngutu ba mde tang na benta ki badan haka armed forces hendre ka long ru na benta ki nong thok khubor
Filawan kali no. Boss ke mo.
minsa one say boss tafa nga ko ang klise thi ako ang klise thi
Good fun talk.
ngan klise thi ang ba haka to kapor te kata ka pressure ka bawan nga smutu namar ba haba pi penmi kini ki khubor ba ka government kan shim ya kani ka decision ka police department kan le kumni kan le kum tai ai nga sutu ba nakatuk away pat kaliang ru kadon kata ka jingpen bor ba ki media kim dei ban le kumni kum dei ban le kum tai kumnu iba Lyngdoh kumu home minister ila aya ka confidence ya kita ki nong tho khubor hakatuk kapor ba ki dei bakin long ki ba don ya kata ka ikhtiar bat ki dei ban long kita ki bam tieng bam rit
Wonderful number ba. He hakatu kapor kadang day kajuk kaba
He mediated a lot.
kaba thamai.
ha
Militancy, as we all know it, was strongest then, most active, most brutal. The law enforcement was under tremendous pressure. Journalists were actually groping in the dark. Right. Ngidi ban wangi ngangan ni thu hok an kran hok ek mga shem.
ha
Because for me too, it was a period of educating myself and learning and growing up under very, very strenuous circumstances. And labon sen baka jingem jongaru kaladon hatimir. Labon sen kuli ulaya nang ni na kmut jonga ladon. Andre, at that time television was new. PCN was the only thing.
ha
So we gave it our all. Ngimtit kata ka yapne ka hayeng kila yanga kilaong ba I was like suicidal because shisha ngala thia kinala you know pre-independence day 14 we get fireworks and all of that. So all of the ngi te haban up on your news like that. On the other hand, law enforcement will be behind us long, but hey, believe he pen me lani believe he see. So there was tremendous pressure. Amidst all of that, ngamtip kumnon re ka don kata kumensim rongba ka bau exhibit u bob. Vi kawai ga ngabangan ngatarai boro angning in yakubur. Bob's face speaks for himself for him. Vi ka dur khamat jengo ka bob ka barade ka barawan sha ta ka man rongba ka ba penlong nya pi bapi okay, this guy is leading us in the right direction. Kumba ule ya ki law enforcement and government as a whole, when he had their backs, he had a lot of our backs. So I mean, salute. And he made it fun for us more.
And he
He
mediated,
actually initiated a trip yangi ba bulletproof to Padawan Thamai to ki van 407s, Nongialam yaki press. And then there was a conspiracy theory to pon padon WhatsApp and all that. Otherwise, by now it would be fun. And our bullet kimon tap yangi po bulletproof and then smoke us to death. So we were asked to give an undertaking, which is normal when you are going into a conflict zone.
Yeah.
That hey, too bad man, if something hits you, like dude, we didn't do it intentionally. So that's an undertaking you have to.
Indemnity report.
So indemnity, we said cool, no problem. Then some smart people that was the whole trick. So he even took us there. You know, like you see, dude, how much our guys are dying, and they are our own people, they are our own sons, our own brothers. Can't we just talk a little peace? That's the man that Bob was. Kajing trang jung u ban wan ra palat kajing sok nang bangin ke won. That was his passion. That I think kaba lam linti yengi bangin should become his like just long blind man. Kad buang Bob biang way.
Exactly.
So, sir, would you like to add a little bit more to that?
You see, as I was telling David and Kong that he mediated a lot. Press hated us, we hated the press. You know, at a certain given point of time. Because, you know, they were into our faces and we turned the other way. And you see, I think there was a time when we had JT Lyngdoh as a PRO. I said, you know, we just can't handle it anymore. I said, let there be a PRO, because we didn't have the time. You know, I said, let there be a PRO, let him, and then we started giving the bulletins every evening, which really helped them. And I have some of my dearest friends in the press. David is one of them. And later on, they came to know that we meant well. And Bob mediated. And as I said, you know, with his assurance to back us came a sense of responsibility. So we were also responsible to the press, where the press is responsible to the public. And there was no sort of untruth or half-truths. We never believed in that. And the one thing is that because of Bob's assurance and his integrity, we never ever took advantage of the billet given to us. And that again the credit goes to my officers. We definitely had the finest men and women at that point of time. I mean, we've lost officers, we've lost men, but we delivered. So there again, you see, I mean, once we got our backs protected, we assured the Home Minister, and he stood by us. You see, he stood by us, and as he said, there he was, I mean, a true leader, right to the very end, and we benefited.
You know, and another example why we all call him a true leader. I know he is a true leader, believe. He never took credit for. Had it been today's HM, so many arrests, so many busts, so many raids, I mean, every day you see we, I. Bob was never there in the picture. There was never any official statement that the Home Minister said this. Anything has to comes from PHQ or the relevant SP.
The facts and the came out.
So they gave us, they also withheld, which they felt was not yet relevant or needed to be withheld, and there was mutual respect after that. Because Bob said, hey dude, whose side are you on finally? You know, it's like that. So it's beautiful.
So, sir, I would like to put you another question, because at that point of time, it was not just a standoff between the government, the police department, and the band outfits, but it is also a standoff between the government, the police department, versus the general public. Because at that point of time, there was a sense of ethnicity, like why the police department being so brutal against our own kind and kin. So at that point of time, sir, like how did the Home Minister like tame the situation, and how did he give the confidence to the police department that what you are doing is right?
You see, I'll come down to brass tacks. Ethnicity was an excuse to make money.
Yeah. Okay.
To put it very bluntly. Ethnicity was an excuse to make money. Look at all the extortions. Look at all the killings. Look at the kidnappings. I mean, these are criminal acts. No society will condone that. and no upright standing police officer will condone that, nor will a home minister like Bob. So that ethnicity business is just a mask of making money, fooling the people that you should not wear a salwar kameez, you should not do this, you should not do that. Ki pandai tala po score ki pandai tala po khosio ba phi ba phi kran kumne ba phi kran kumda. We are a free people. We are not Talibanized. No?
Yeah.
So I mean, ethnicity is today the people have understood, but that time they tried to understand at the point of a gun. They were almost coerced into understanding, which is wrong.
Yeah.
So I mean, but luckily we came on top of it, and again, Bob. I mean, I'm sure David is aware of it. He was even in touch with the other side.
Yeah.
He was in touch with the
Always
other
reaching
side.
out.
He said, "Come out, let's talk." And he was telling me, "Uncle," I said, "Bob, do what you have to do. We'll protect. The quicker this thing finishes off, the less lives we'll lose, the better it is. Use any avenue." You see, we are never hypocrites about it. But every time at the back of our minds is that we were dealing with our own people. And they were just being misled by a certain group. And as you very correctly said, Mehwan, that, the foundation was this ethnicity business. It was never on that thread.
Ngilay iba arjiling do kat ba idang serve kum home minister serve hakapor kabahiran ba kapor ba ba but kum juru hakapor ba isimti kum vice chancellor jong ka MLCU ru kadai kapor kabahiran ba ba hakatu kapor ba ka MLCU ru kala long struggle for survival ngila ba mo. It was almost gone kumansyong tamba hakatu kapor iwan iba arjiling do but menta ka MLCU kala dai ka way na kita ki universities pa kabaki beriau keleng saudong kari India kilala ban buram.
Yes.
Te kumno iba arjiling do hakapor ba iwan uta u vice chancellor ipen kalaya kurukum trikam bat kumba pi pila trikam bhabat ya marjan bhabat mo pila tip kamba te ka jing ka kata ka jingwan ra jong ka ba compare ka ba pelong ka Martin Luther Christian University bakan poi ha kanika sinjam ka bagadan menta.
When he came, the university was, through a very turbulent time, if I should use that word. So many issues. We want the press for bad reasons and all that. Nobody wants that. But when Aji came, for the person that he was and the image that he carried, there was this confidence. So that was the beginning. But when he came in, he saw we were doing a lot of work. We were working hard. We were a group of young people. Most of the people working in MSU, when we joined university, we were 25 years old, 26 years old.
True.
So, and he could see we meant good, we did well. However, our documentation was not in place. We were doing our job, but perhaps, with his managerial skills that he had as an MBA graduate, he brought in all that. He put our HR into a system. He put the there were SOPs for everything. And as we maintain that, we realize that we can actually see and how can we reap he brought in all that. However, at the same time, he was there were two other things that he brought in the university, which I feel are very important. We had the vision statement of the university, we had the mission statement of the university. However, we don't have any statement of values. And he felt that for an educational institution, it's important to have a set of values that we should adhere to. What are the values we're imparting? It shouldn't just be bookish, it shouldn't be academic.
Foundation.
Yes, but the values, the life values I'm talking about here. So it was him who brought in these 10 values for the university. He wrote it himself, by the way. So we have those values everywhere in our diaries, everywhere. So,
Can I sneak peek?
yeah, why not? Sure.
A typical press.
Yes. Yeah.
Why wait for
Yes, yes. So these values came in, and as part of follow-up of this, so we have something called the human value as a subject, which was taught to the students. That was one. Number two, what he brought in was, we talk about equity, equity in terms of gender, equity in everything. Then we talk about equity in terms of religion, though it's a Christian university. However, we would want to instill that respect for the other religions as well. So as part of that, equity towards religion is in our mission statement. So as part of that, how do we show that, you know, we are doing that, right? So one part of it, what we did is, in every convocation, so we'll have these prayers and reading from the verses of holy books by different religion. So, and you know, that brings together all of us who are from different religion, different congregation, and we come together. So, as Kumbalong Iba, Kumbalong Isa, he was a peacemaker. He was a peacemaker. He was somebody who would think beyond that. Who would think ahead of time. He was somebody who was more than academician. As an academician, we tend to sit in this ivory tower and think that we know everything, and we cannot connect to the people.
Very true.
Sir was the one who brought in all these. We have to connect. You have to translate whatever you teach in the classroom. That should be translated back to the community. He made sure that happened.
Brilliant.
So I think Sir has brought in a lot of, and all these things actually made a difference. One more very interesting, if you know, the press would have noticed that during Sir's tenure, we never gave any advertisement for admissions. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And always say, why are you so stingy?
Yes, no advertisement. He said your work should speak for you. You shouldn't be advertising for, you know, admissions for this year. Rather, it should be your work which should speak for you. So we were all out in the communities all the time. All our experiential learning was happening in the community, and that was covered with the press. So we were in the press.
He challenged us actually.
Yes.
He said, you want to be paid, you know, some money, and then we'll write whatever we want about ourselves, and you can live with a guilty conscience if we are wrong. He spoke sense. So then I said, give us stories. Then he said, come. And that was it.
So
He got a free advertisement. Because you see, I always tell people, especially when universities and all call me up and say, which paper is good for publicity. Then I just say, okay, you know, that's it. Recently we had one. They even gave a lavish lunch, you know. So the thing is, Bob said, hey, we don't need to do that.
Yes.
Let them, if they have a problem, let them come to you. You come, you see the good, the bad, the ugly. You write about everything. I'm not saying only the good. So that's what he opened my eyes. I told you, every meeting, every sit down, every conversation with Bob is always a valuable lesson for me.
Exactly.
I remember it as if it was yesterday, I'm telling you. So because he usu ka jingem jango ka penlong epi ba penlong kali lane ula. Yato he doesn't care if you're big or if you're small, you're old or you're young. He's the same with you.
He treats everyone the
and
same.
he can relate with you. Age don't matter. Actually.
Yes. So
Thank
true.
you. Sir, I would like to put this question to you: is like you have dealt with Sir R.G. Lyngdoh as, you know, like professionally, as a police officer. But how was he as just a human being, just an ordinary human being? How was he? What is the story behind that gem of a man behind the chair of the Home Minister at that point of time?
See, firstly, we never felt that we were dealing with the Home Minister. We never felt we were dealing with the Home Minister. He never put that barrier in between us. We gave him all the respect. And as you were saying, you know, his casualness. The meeting in Delhi, we are sitting here with the Home Minister and all that, and he's saying, "Uncle told me." You see, that's what Bob was. I mean, he would not. I would address him as sir, always in a formal meeting, and otherwise across the table it was Bob, and he'll still call me uncle. So guys was a bit, you know. So that was the very human side of him. And he had a element of mischief. He had an element
Very
of mischief.
witty, very witty.
And very witty. Sometime he would just, go under the radar. Delhi is looking for him. And so we'd find him out. And so, I mean, he never made us feel that, he was the boss. He just made us feel that he was the Home Minister and he was there to guide and lead us. And that's where he got, loyalty.
True. Loyalty.
That is where he got the total loyalty from us. Our officers died, gazetted officers, men, recruits, and but he got our total loyalty because he was also loyal to us.
Thank you so much, sir. But David, ladang ipet hiya kanika jela jungi kanika kajuk ke bamentang iba ke sorkar kelas dang ban pasat ya taka jengmut jeng perkat jongka syaka tourism. Tang ba baprat linti ningkong hi ya ka tourism ide ba RJ Lyngdoh. Ha ka lingba ka MTDF lani ka Meghalaya Tourism Development Forum. Te kumnu kad long kum naki press. Hakano karukom tarai ba kata ka jingmut jeng perkat jong ikala poi shatabat hakano ka liang hakano karukom ba kata ka jing prat enti jong i hakato ka por kalong ka jing kerku na benta ka jela hakani ka por ka benta.
Kata sa sisin ka pensaki ka jinglong visionary jong Bob. Tu la de pej ngai. XLRI product. Te kibatip ya kata that's enough. I am not going to elaborate. He sure is one. So he saw the future of Meghalaya. He saw the potential. He saw that we can become a super successful economy. We can actually become a super rich community. But he saw that it was not happening. Te uprasang ni MTDF Meghalaya Tourism Development Forum nga wadon mentalang nado basdang. Henry nga kum mga julong hadu mentahi nga kibon ki parlok kibon ki seng ki bayadon ki bay perkat. Namta kibon bon ki kam ki ban penroy penpare nga ju adon mentalang kum bayadon mentai ngam ju don position e naman nga lang day nong tho kubor kam ju nga di ban lum kubor. Kampat poy ka kerta nga try bangan ligbat kam kum kita. Kabar ubob bangapay boruseng itu he felt that the only way we can do it is let's just do it anyway. And uyo kiparlok kum i ba Dipak lalu uming Rafael Warjri Aiban Maukro great team. Baro kibaya mudur kibaya terang man penuan rakyat kata kajing kelai kejela on the same lines of being professional, being honest, maintaining integrity, respecting nature. That was one thing. So that was what MTDF the nang to sapoy ka maulin nong kisapoy segitu gitu. So udah maumer banengkong kan. Ba penyang yu maumer banengkong milestone udah ba RJ Lyngdoh abaseng ya ka MTDF. But kisok yung ta we have so many societies kini kita imenta. Those things were already envisioned by you. I ngasus ngo senay ba ngasus si ba ubab uklam da ilot ikta kisok kan.
Exactly.
Makin say lang namarngingi de ki rew lahe ri.
Sir,
just one thing, Mebon, what David had said, being a visionary. You see, Bob introduced me to a friend of his who was making all these new systems vests, the one that you see the men today. So, he was very much into modernizing the police force. And I handled modernization for 15 to 16 years.
Yeah.
And I came out with some, very good ideas. There was one read, one studied. And then he introduced me to this gentleman, Mr. Lano. He had quit. He had quit, I think the customs service or something like that. And he was a very innovative. So today, what you see, the men wearing the systems vest, I think we were the first, even before the Indian Army, to introduce the 3-point Israeli sling. It's called the 3-point Israeli slings. We got it, which you can never lose your weapon because you put it in such a way that. So there was another thing talking about him being a visionary, he was heavy into modernizing the police. And we fought tooth and nail, with the center to get the bulletproof jackets, to get the bulletproof vehicles, and we never compromised in quality. We paid through our noses, but even up to today, those vehicles,
them actually,
we are still
I'll vouch for it because,
using it.
So what is the difference between R.G. Lyngdoh as the Home Minister and the Home Ministers that followed after him?
You want me to get hanged?
You're retired, it's okay.
Since you're retired, sir, I just thought I'll throw you that question.
That would be brutal. That would be police brutality. Asking none other than the former DG to
You want me to lose my pension?
try asking Larry can
no, actually,
see,
sir,
the
I just want to know
it becomes
that.
subjective.
Yeah.
It becomes
No,
subjective.
actually, sir, what I want to know is what was the work ethic, the difference on the work ethic between R.G. Lyngdoh as a Home Minister
You see,
and the Home Minister.
as an ex-government servant, Mehban, let me be very frank.
Yeah.
It would not be proper for me to comment.
True.
Yeah.
It would not be proper for me to comment because, you see, comparison, it's not called for. See, each people acts differently at a certain given point of time.
Times are different.
So, being honest about it, it would not be right for me to comment.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir. But I think I can ask you.
Oh, no, I
No, actually, let me answer that question. From what I can see, the difference between R.G. Lyngdoh as the Home Minister and the Home Ministers that followed after him, it's just that from my perspective, since I was doing a research, I just saw that he was someone who liked to work more and talk less, and that is also exactly the reason why he does not have a Wikipedia page. So all the others that followed after him, they have a Wikipedia page. So when I tried to do more and more research about him, I couldn't find a Wikipedia page. So that shows the difference in the work culture between him and the ones that follow, which also means that he likes to have the confidence of people in person, in reality, and less in social media.
And maintain a low profile.
Yeah,
Yes.
maintain a low
And
profile.
see, there's too much about him. Wikipedia won't fit. This is on cloud server.
Yeah.
You run out of things to describe actually, and they're all true, sadly. So what to do?
So we
for the university, he was a cool VC. He
Oh,
was a
yeah.
rock star
Must be
VC.
absolutely.
He was a rock
He
star
would have
VC.
been a rock star minister, chief minister. He's statesman. Arey Baba, we are all when you talk of Bob, you talk of a statesman, not a politician.
Yes, yes.
And then you talk of Bob as a musician,
Very
as
true.
a basic, grounded
Absolutely.
guy who can come and put his arm around you no matter how many days you haven't had a bath.
Yes.
That's Bob.
He's
So
somebody who will
let
push
me
us.
ask you this question then. Since you are talking about him being a politician, a statesman, and everything else, what's the difference between a politician and a statesman according to you?
A statesman actually doesn't go for petty brownie points and small showstoppers and tall promises and facades. A statesman lives a life as honest and transparent as can be, as R.G. Lyngdoh.
So my last question
Yes.
to you. Since you have talked about him being a visionary, what was his vision for MLCU, and how far has you, being a faculty in MLCU, you feel how far have you come, and how far are you going to go?
He wanted the university to go to the people, not the people coming to the university. He wanted to ensure that, our youth should not have the need to migrate to urban areas for livelihood, because livelihood can also be, earned staying at their own places. But we need to create those avenues, perhaps a little bit of hand holding. So he talks a lot about entrepreneurship. He talks a lot about sustainability. He talks about a lot about going out to the community And I think what he sees for the university is to go in that direction. And I think we're pretty much in that, walking in that direction towards it. And we've just had the 16-year of review and planning for the university. So a lot of visions that Sir had for the university, we are definitely working towards it. Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, I guess with that question, we have come to the end of today's program, where we pay a tribute to one of the gem of Meghalaya, Sir R.G. Lyngdoh. So we'll remember him in prayers, and we'll also remember him as we move forward as a state, because without R.G. Lyngdoh, it will be very difficult to even imagine where we are right now. So this is Maybon Lyngdoh R from Doordarshan Meghalaya. Thank you so much. May God bless you. We'll see you next week at 5 p.m. on the same channel, DD Meghalaya. Thank you. Ublay unnang ekar khui phi.